Hi, this is Teri from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is a beautiful spring card. I've used the Daisy Lane stamp set for the flowers, the honeybee stamp set for the bees, and I've also used my homemade cloud stencil for the background. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you are interested in reproducing it, you can take a screenshot and refer to it later. This is the Daisy Lane stamp set, and today I'm using the smaller flower, the smile sentiment and the stem. I want to stamp the stems onto the front panel first of all, and I'm using old olive ink, and I'm going to stamp 5 of them at various heights. I'll stamp my flower heads next, and I'm using Petal Pink and Calypso Coral inks. And I'm just stamping these onto various scraps of normal weight Whisper White card that I have. Now in total you need 11. I'm going to stamp a few more than that and choose the ones I like best for my card. So I'm starting by inking the stamp completely with Petal Pink, and then I'm rocking and rolling it onto the Calypso Coral ink pad just to get the tips of the petals covered. Now I wanted a bit more Calypso Coral to show on my flowers, so I've gone again, and I prefer the result this time, so I'm going to try and do that for the rest of my flowers. So again, I'm inking up with Petal Pink, and then I'm just rocking the stamp onto my Calypso Coral ink pad and then stamping down. I'll try and do this again at a better angle for the camera so you can see. So I've inked up my stamp using Petal Pink, and then I'm going to rock the stamp, just touching the edges of the petals to my Calypso Coral ink pad, and then I can stamp it down. Now I'm going to repeat this for the rest of the flowers. Once stamped, I'll punch these out using the coordinating medium daisy punch. This is the honeybee stamp set, and I'm just using the small bee image today. I'll be embossing my bees and my sentiment, so I'm just prepping some scraps of Whisper White card with my embossing buddy. Now I'm going to stamp these in my favourite black ink, which is VersaFine Onyx Black. I need 4 bees. I'm going to stamp them, cover with clear embossing powder, then just put them to the side while I stamp the sentiment and cover that with embossing powder. Then I can heat set both pieces using my heat tool. I'm doing some very quick colouring on the bees, and I'm using my Stampin' Blends alcohol markers. I'm starting with the light Mango Melody and colouring all the stripes. Then I'll switch to the dark and just add a little of this at the start and end of each stripe, and then I'll blend together with the light marker again. I'm going to die cut the sentiment using the smallest oval from the Stitched Shapes dies. The Calypso Coral mat to go underneath it was created using the smallest scalloped oval from the Layering Oval die set. And then I'm using one of the coordinating detailed bee dies to die cut my little bees. I've covered most of my flower stems with some masks that I've stamped and cut out, and these will protect the stems while I do my cloud background. And I store these in with my stamp sets because they can be reused several times. So I've just stamped them onto masking paper and cut them out by hand, and then I can lay them on top of my stamped images. I can then just wrap the free ends of them round to the back of my cardstock panel, and this will just keep them out of the way while I do my stenciling. I'm using my homemade cloud stencil for the background. Now if you would like to make your own cloud stencil and would like to see how I made mine, I'll put a link at the top right of the screen to another video showing you how I did this. I'm going to use Balmy Blue ink this time and apply it using a blending brush. I'm going to start at the bottom of my panel and work upwards. So I've positioned my stencil and I'm applying the ink to the edge of it to get that cloud impression, and then I can rotate and or move my stencil to get a different shape as I move up the card. I can then remove all my masks and replace them into the lid of my stamp set case, ready to be used another time. You can shape the petals of the flowers by using your bone folder. So if you hold the base of each petal as you shape it, and then run the petal between your thumb and your bone folder of your other hand, and this will curl the petals downwards. You can then use a ball tool on the centre of the flower to press the centre down and lift the petals. Because I've got 10 flowers to shape in total, I'm going to do the rest of them in a different way. So I'm placing my flowers upside down on my foam mat, and I've got a larger ball tool here. And all I'm going to do is run this along the back of each petal, and this causes them to curl upwards. Then I can flip it over and work the centre in the same way I did before to lift the petals up. And this is much quicker when you've got quite a few that you need to get through. It'll shape them in exactly the same way, so they'll all look the same. It's just a quicker method. And these ball tools are used mainly for cake decoration, and you can buy them everywhere really. Now all my flowers have been shaped, I'm going to pair them up, and just adding a dot of glue to the centre of the lower flower, I'm going to offset another one on top of it, and I'll do this for each of the 5 pairs. I'm also going to layer up my sentiment, and then I'll add a few dimensionals onto the back of it. I'm only going to shape 3 of the bees because the other one will go inside my card, and I'm doing this just by using a pencil. So I'm placing the bee upside down around the pencil, and then I can also curl the wings back slightly with it. Once shaped, I'll add half a mini dimensional onto each of the bee's wings. My card base for this time is in Calypso Coral, and this is just half a standard sheet of card, scored in the middle and folded to create a portrait card. Then I've got my front panel, which I'm going to layer onto a basic black mat. And then I've got my completed inside panel, and I just stamp this with part of the stem I stamped the flower head twice, offsetting the petals, and then I've added one of the punched flower heads on top, and then I added the fourth bee that I didn't shape. As a finishing touch for the front of my card, I'm going to use the Perennial Essence Floral Centers in the center of each of my flowers. Now these are quite dimensional. They're self-adhesive. You just peel off the backing and then you can add them. This is the type of product that generally I tend to hoard, so I'm forcing myself now to use these things. They're all so pretty. And then to finish off the inside of my card, I can't add the floral centers because they're two-dimensional. I'm just going to add some clear Wink of Stella onto the center of the flower. And that's it, my card is now complete. It's very pretty. And here's another look at my original card. I created the flowers using Blushing Bride with Melon Mambo. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.